Machine Gun Kelly. My A&R. G off, he like Machine Gun Kelly. I'm like,
Jeffrey Lamar Williams, known professionally as Young Thug, is an American rapper and singer-songwriter. He is considered to be an influential figure of his generation, with his music impacting the modern sound of hip-hop and trap music. Known for his eccentric vocal style and fashion, Thug initially released a series of independent mixtapes beginning in 2011 with I Came From Nothing. In early 2013, he signed with Gucci Mane's 1017 Records, and later that year, he released his debut mixtape, 1017 Thug, to critical praise. What people may not know is that Williams almost died in April 2020. This is what happened. Before we get into the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel with notifications on so you don't miss any of the new videos that we post. Alright, let's go. Young Thug's near-death experience brought on by organ failure. Rapper Jeffrey Young Thug Williams is still on a quest to become the richest black man. During his interview with Rolling Stone magazine, Young Thug talked about his near-death experience. Like many of us, Young Thug was forced to quarantine during the global health situation. The Atlanta rapper had his share of trouble throughout the years. His run-in with the law and his issues with using lean was highly publicized. Back in 2017, Young Thug was facing felony drug and gun charges. In fact, Young Thug was hit with 8 felony charges for possession of marijuana, methamphetamine, codeine, hydrocodone, Xanax, an amphetamine, and a firearm. Allegedly, police stopped the vehicle Young Thug was a passenger in because of tinted windows. During the stop, drugs and firearms were found. Police mentioned that Young Thug had the intent to distribute the drugs. His attorney, Brian Steele, was determined to help Young Thug clear his name. Later on, Young Thug was released. However, he violated his release by testing positive for drugs. When Young Thug was rearrested, he had some time to think. In a plea to the judge, Young Thug wrote this: "I'm sorry for disobeying court. I'm sorry for disobeying my PO and being there again. I just want to go home with my family and do right." Also, Williams admitted, "I understand this is real life. I have 2 sons, ages 10 and 11. I don't want them to think that going to jail, even if you can get out right away, is cool. I want to grow, and I have grown. I made mistakes and I've been penalized for them. I'm sorry, and I won't disobey again." Fortunately, Young Thug's plea worked. He was shortly released. At this time, we don't have more details about Young Thug's case. Evidently, Young Thug has kept his promise. So when Young Thug revealed he nearly died, it was alarming to his fans, especially since we had no prior knowledge that he was sick. He gave no details on what went wrong with his body. What he did share was an indication something serious had happened. Quote, "I kind of just stayed in bed and I was like, yo, call the ambulance, I can't move my body," he said at the same time. Then later, when the ambulance came, I couldn't get out of bed. They had to come get me out of bed, basically. I felt like my whole body was numb and I couldn't move. I went to the hospital and I had found out that I had liver and kidney failure, and I kind of sort of passed away. Like, I kind of died." End quote. A near-death experience, otherwise known as NDE, is a profound personal experience associated with death or impending death, which researchers claim share similar characteristics. When positive, such experiences may encompass a variety of sensations, including detachment from the body, feelings of levitation, total serenity, security, warmth, the experience of absolute dissolution, and the presence of light. When negative, such experiences may include sensations of anguish and distress. Explanations for NDEs vary from scientific to religious. Neuroscience researchers hypothesize that an NDE is a subjective phenomenon resulting from disturbed bodily multisensory integration that occurs during life-threatening events, while some transcendental and religious beliefs about an afterlife include descriptions similar to NDEs. Luckily, Young Thug has recovered from his health scare. As the interview with Jeff Ihaza went on, Young Thug shifted the conversation to talk about his upcoming album, Punk. Young Thug and his cars. Young Thug is worth $8 million. Among his possessions is his impressive car collection. He owns the following: Rolls-Royce Wraith. Young Thug joins celebrities who owns Rolls-Royce cars like Offset, Kim Kardashian, and Floyd Mayweather, who are proud owners of the Wraith. Bronx rapper Cardi B brought her partner a Wraith for his birthday. This luxury ground tour comes as a 632 horsepower machine with a V12 engine. The interior of the car sports rich and soft leather as a luxury saloon should. On a cruise, the Rolls-Royce is a head-turner, and the British car maker's attention to detail is brilliant. These cars cost around $500,000. 2020 Chevrolet Corvette Stingray. Chevrolet fulfills the long-term promise of the iconic Corvette with the introduction of the C8 Stingray, the brand's first ever production mid-engine Corvette. The sum of everything that came before it, the 2020 Stingray is reimagined, bringing customers new levels of performance, technology, craftsmanship, and luxury. With 16.6% of its mass over the rear tires, the C7 Stingray had a roughly 50-50 front to to rear weight distribution, the C8 is ferocious off the line. With the dual mode performance exhaust that's included in the Z51 package, the 6.2-liter LT2 V8 in the C8's tail makes 495 horsepower. Base cars without the exhaust make 490. That's up 35 ponies from the C7. Z51's engine, which keeps the pounds per horsepower ratios of the two cars virtually equal. This car set Young Thug back a decent $66,400. Mercedes-Benz AMG S65 Cabriolet. The AMG S65 Cabriolet's twin-turbo V12 code M279 rated a 621 horsepower and 738 pounds of torque holds a slight advantage over the AMG S36, which is powered by a 5.5-liter turbo V8 engine that produces 577 horsepower and is slightly less torquey at 664 pounds per feet. Even so, the S65 won't be the fastest car among its siblings. The S63 is lighter and, unlike the X65, comes with all-wheel drive, allowing it to turn more power into propulsion instead of smoke and tire marks. Nevertheless, the S65 convertible can reach 60 miles per hour in a claimed 4.0 seconds, while the top speed is governed at 186 miles per hour. Real-life fuel economy should hover around 15 miles per gallon, not bad considering its performance. To distinguish the AMG S65 from its lesser siblings, it has been ladled with chrome. The twin blade grille, the so-called lower A-wing, and the front splitter are all executed in a high-gloss material. The mesh in the grille and the air intake is finished in chrome as well. The S65 gets its own exclusive 20-inch wheel design, with Mercedes asserts appears larger than its actual dimensions. To get the full effect, it's recommended you order your S65 in one of the cooler colors. You wouldn't want anyone mistaking your S65 for a mere S63, right? Young Thug must really enjoy cruising with this stunning car. Mercedes-Benz Maybach S600. Mercedes are the ultimate luxury German car makers. The Mercedes that Young Thug owns is the Mercedes Maybach S600. The sleek Mercedes is a sedan car that goes for between $78,000 and $137,000, and it sits pretty in Young Thug's car collection. One thing we're sure Young Thug enjoys from this luxury sedan is choice to drive it or be driven. Another is a solid delivery to its steering response. The car uses a turbocharged 6-liter V12 engine. It boasts an output of 523 horsepower and torque of 612 pounds per feet. Its engine setup is arguably one of the more powerful engines in the world, especially for its size. The interior of the Mercedes Maybach S600 speaks of class, luxury, something we've already known Young Thug understands well. Its power is harnessed by a 7-speed automatic transmission along with a rear-wheel drive. With this car, Young Thug is driving around in style. Rolls-Royce Cullinan. Young Thug was seen posing with his white Rolls-Royce Cullinan. Rolls-Royce is known for limousine-like sedans such as the Ghost and Phantom, but the rich and famous, much like the rest of the car-buying world, aren't as into the 3-box shape as they once were. To appease this section of mega-worthy patrons, Rolls came up with the Cullinan, the pinnacle of the SUV species. This mammoth machine gets its name from a gigantic diamond, which is appropriate considering the car's overwhelming opulence and ultra-expensive price. The back seat feels as spacious as a living room, and the spirit of ecstasy hood ornament broadcasts the size of the owner's own bank account. The Rolls-Royce tries to justify its premium with a velvety V12 engine and an utterly tranquil ride. But while buyers can personalize the cabin with bespoke options, there's some questionable content, including an inelegant digital gauge setup and an inflexible rear bench seat. Still, the 2021 Cullinan is nothing short of a rolling palace that pampers riders and amazes onlookers. It starts out at a price of $335,350. That's all we have time for today. What's your take on Young Thug's near-death experience? Please leave a comment and tell us. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video and would like to invite you back for your next one. Until then, take care.